And there on your screens, Prime Minister Modi is now disembarking, his hands folded in a namaste.
המשמר יעבור לדום. משמר, דום.
So the Indian Prime Minister has finally touched down on the tarmac and being welcomed there by the Israeli Prime Minister and his wife. A team of media persons there capturing the moment up close as the two tall leaders meet warmly, shake hands and a hug there between the two leaders. And this, as you can see, the welcome by the Prime Minister and his wife, and he proceeds to meet the Indian officials as well as the Israeli officials who are there to welcome him. An extremely important visit, as Prime Minister Modi is introduced to all the officials who are there to welcome him one by one, along with the Israeli Prime Minister there. And the Prime Minister is walking the red carpet along with the Israeli Prime Minister. And now photo opportunity for the two leaders to showcase the warmth and the friendship between the two nations and the two individual leaders as well. The Prime Minister is walking down the red carpet, flanked by the Prime Minister of Israel and senior military officials, as he lands in Tel Aviv for an extremely important and historic visit. The two leaders are being shown to certain marked places for photo opportunity.
המשמר יחטיף את נשקו. החטף, צ'ק!
So these are visuals coming in live from Israel as Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been welcomed to Tel Aviv by the Prime Minister of Israel and his wife.
משמר כבוד של חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל, ערוך ונכון לסקירתך. אדוני.
The Prime Minister and the Israeli Prime Minister there on the screens.
המשמר ידגל את נשקו. דגל, צ'ק! המשמר יחטיף את נשקו. החטף, צ'ק!
As the initial welcome is according to the Prime Minister, the two leaders meeting. They did a sort of a little walk around where the Prime Minister of Israel met up with the rest of the delegation that is accompanying Prime Minister Modi. We saw the External Affairs Minister over there. The NSA is also accompanying the Prime Minister, and they all were welcomed by the Prime Minister. And now it is expected that before heading to Jerusalem, the two leaders will sit down for an initial meeting at the airport itself. At the lounge in the airport itself, there will be a short meeting. This meeting is extremely crucial as the two leaders sit down immediately and get down to the agenda as Prime Minister Modi lands down in Tel Aviv. This meet is expected to cover bilateral plus regional and global issues. The two leaders, as you just saw them on the tarmac, as they were welcomed with the national anthem of the two countries being played. First, it was India's national anthem, and then afterwards, it was Israel's national anthem, which is called The Hope, which basically expresses the message of this wish of the Israelis to be in their homeland forever. And the Prime Minister stood there and paid his respect to the national anthem of India and then Israel. After that, there was a short walk that the two leaders engaged in while inspecting the Guard of Honor. And then later, the Prime Minister Modi directed Prime Minister Israel towards his delegation, and he shook hands with the rest of the delegations, which basically, as we saw, had the NSA, the External Affairs Minister, and many other senior people who will be involved in the bilateral and the talks that will happen. And once again, we bring you the visuals of when the Prime Minister landed in Tel Aviv, and as he was welcomed by Benjamin Netanyahu and his wife, and later he proceeded to shake hands with all the military leaders also present over there. And remember, this is an extremely important visit for India and Israel as well. Defense ties are high on agenda. After Operation Sindoor, India has focused significantly on expanding its defense arsenal, and Israel is one of its key allies and strategic partners when it comes to defense procurement. It is believed that during this visit, there will be significant push as far as building and escalating the ties between the two countries is concerned. Will India get some key arms and ammunition and missiles that we expect? Will there be a deeper tie between the two countries? Definitely the warmth between the two leaders as Prime Minister Modi landed over there is something that everyone notices. Even the last time the Prime Minister was there, which was in 2017, Prime Minister Netanyahu had come to the tarmac to personally welcome Prime Minister Modi. And once again, Prime Minister Netanyahu is back at the tarmac with his team and along with him, with his wife, to welcome Prime Minister Modi. Now, after this welcome, it is expected that before heading to Jerusalem, the two leaders will sit down for an initial meeting at the airport itself at the Fatah Lounge. It is expected that the two leaders will have a sort of a free-flowing discussion on various issues, which could be covering bilateral issues, regional issues, and even global issues. This relationship that we see between Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is extremely warm and friendly. And joining us now is India Today's Shivani Sharma. Shivani, the moment has come when Prime Minister Modi landed, and of course the welcome that we were talking about, that happened, a warm welcome, not just the Prime Minister but his wife as well, to welcome Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Israel. It is also expected that there might be an initial meeting between the two leaders, a sort of a free-flowing dialogue between the two. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Anjali, what we are getting through the sources is that there is a meeting right at the airport where he has been received, where at the Ben Gurion airport, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been received by the Israeli Prime Minister and his wife. There will be a brief meeting out there with the officials, and thereafter they will be moving to Jerusalem. That happens to be the official headquarters of the government of Israel, and the Israeli parliament will be addressed by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So as soon as Prime Minister Narendra Modi has arrived in Israel, he's been welcomed there. We can see these gestures, these pictures where Prime Minister Narendra Modi is being warmly welcomed by PM and his wife. We see this exchange of statements, this laughter out there. This shows that there is much more than an official visit that has already now started in Israel with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Israeli PM. And now they will be holding a small meeting. We can also say that the bilateral has already begun with these uh, visits where the Prime Minister has been welcomed by the PM of Israel. He will be meeting the officials, and thereafter they will be moving to the Israeli Knesset, where Prime Minister will be addressing the Parliament of Israel for the first time. So this is how this 2-day visit, that is a very important and a very crucial visit, has already begun. The schedule is quite expansive. We see that there are a number of meetings which are there, which are scheduled for the 2 days. Not only the Prime Minister's meeting, the bilateral meeting that will be conducted today itself, but the president, the meeting of the president and the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, that will also happen. He'll be meeting the key officials in Israel. He will be holding meeting with the Indian community out there. He will be going to the place where the Holocaust had happened in the 2023 October. That museum he will be visiting. So there are a number of engagements through these 2 days where Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be discussing upon a number of issues of bilateral agreements with Israel. He will be discussing the strategic partnership with Israel, the defense cooperation with Israel, how India is moving ahead to build its own Iron Dome, the Sudarshan Chakra, and how Israel can
Right.
contribute in this particular Darshan Chakra technology, because there will be discussions on the laser technologies too. We see that Iron Dome of Israel that happens to be one of the world's best air shields, how it can contribute to India and its own Sudarshan Chakra. So there is a whole lot of engagement lined up for the day and also for tomorrow, Anjali. But certainly this happens to be a very important and a crucial visit by Prime Minister Narendra Modi after 2017. So this is coming after 9 years, where PM will be not only meeting counterpart in Israel, but also be addressing the interest for both the nations.
Right. Shivani, if we talk about the ties that the two countries have had, it's extremely important to understand them because till 1992, India had very limited diplomatic ties with Israel. But post 1999, they sort of jumped. There was a escalation. There was this intensity that we saw between the two nations. And now, in the last few years, with Prime Minister Modi at the helm, especially, there has been a very deepening of ties, a very strategic deepening of ties between the two. So do try and explain the historic aspect of it.
See, India has been an important strategic partner when it comes to the diplomatic ties since 1990. Israel. Since then, the ties have gone many-fold, especially when it comes to the defense exchanges. India has been the major defense importer for Herons, for missile systems, the Barak 8 missile systems, the AWACS, the counter-drone systems on which India is moving ahead. And in last 3 decades, Anjali, there has been the strengthening of these ties with Israel, especially when it comes to Prime Minister Narendra Modi when he took over as a Prime Minister in 2014. Since then, there has been a substantial increase in the defense partnership, the cooperation between India and Israel in the number of fields, be it education, be it innovation, be it technology, be it intelligence sharing. Israel is known to be a nation which has an excellent intelligence sharing framework towards this, and this partnership has grown, especially in last 2 decades, with a number of exchanges that are military exchanges. There are exercises that are going on. There are technological exchanges that take place between India and Israel. And especially in last few years, when Israel has seen the conflict, the kind of support India has rendered to Israel has been the strengthening of ties between India and Israel. And so goes for Israel also, Anjali. We've seen that how Israel has been standing in solidarity with India when it comes to India's fight against terror. So we've seen since in 26/11 when the terror attacks had happened in Mumbai. Since then,
Right.
Israel has been.
Right. Right, Shivani. Also joining us is India Today's Global's Pranay Upadhyay. Pranay, you know, extremely important visit. I mean, that's to say the least. But let's begin from the top. Let's begin with the welcome, you know, the warm hug, the respect that is accorded by one prime minister to another, and also the fact that the wife has also accompanied to welcome the prime minister. Tell us a little bit, take us through the welcome and also the importance of the ties between the two countries.
Absolutely, Anjali. This clearly shows the warmth in relationship. The gesture extended by the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu clearly shows that how special is this partnership for India and Israel, and how he was there on the tarmac along with his his wife Sara Netanyahu to welcome Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and he almost walked up to the stairs and on the tarmac to welcome Prime Minister Modi. They hugged each other. They shook hands with each other, and this clearly shows that Prime Minister Netanyahu accords a special welcome to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This is a 26-hour visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Israel, and both the leaders wanted to use maximum of this visit, their meetings, and in fact their conversation started from the tarmac only. And in fact, if you see how Prime Minister Narendra Modi introduced his delegation along with India's Foreign Minister, Dr. Shankar, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, and how Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met them. And besides that, how the Tri-Service Guard of Honor extended to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This clearly shows that, India's and Israel's strategic partnership is going to take another leap, another fresh chapter or new chapter will be added with this visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But what all will be there on the agenda, what all will be there on the table of the discussion and delegation level talks between these two leaders when they would be meeting tomorrow. If you see in 26 hours how the defense and strategic partnership of India and Israel is going to take a new flight. Besides that, how the operationalization of various agreements can be channelized, how the defense and strategic partnership, how the partnership of critical and emerging technologies, because this is a win-win partnership between India and Israel. And why we are saying so? Because India needs technology and innovation from Israel. And what India brings to table, it's skill and scale. Israel needs skill and scale to maximize, to amplify its production, and therefore Israel is also one of the important votary and important supporter of India's Make in India program. And therefore, in terms of the critical and emerging technology, be it artificial intelligence, be it the anti-drone warfare, be it the quantum computing or cyber security techniques, these are the areas where India and Israel would be partnering. Besides that, we know that a high-level Indian defense delegation is currently in Israel. They had a meeting of India's small and medium-scale defense manufacturers because they want to partner with Israel, and India is also aspiring to become a potential defense exporter. We want to expand our defense export, and we want to collaborate with Israel on that. Besides that, the IMAC corridor, how the politics of West Asia is taking shape, how their churning is there.
Right.
India want to come as a partner, as a stakeholder in this West Asia electoral, the political process, and that's why Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Israel, he would be talking about all these things when he would be addressing the Knesset, the Israeli parliament.
We'll be keeping an eye on that as he addresses the parliament within a few hours.